What if Tesla had powered the world for free? What if one man had almost changed the future, and the world quietly buried his dream? What if electricity had never become something you pay for, but something that simply existed around you, free, invisible, and everywhere? No power lines, no electric bills, no giant energy empires controlling modern life. Just one man, one impossible vision, and one terrifying question. What if Nikola Tesla had actually succeeded? Because long before wireless internet, before smartphones, before modern electricity reached every home, there was a man who looked at the sky, the earth, and the invisible forces of nature, and believed he could give power to the entire world for free. And the strangest part, he may not have failed because the idea was impossible. He may have failed because the world was not built to allow it. Tonight, we uncover the forgotten story of the man who wanted to electrify the planet and the dream that may have been too dangerous to become real. This is the story of Nikola Tesla. Before he became one of the most brilliant inventors in human history, Tesla was just a boy, born in the middle of a storm. Literally, on the night he was born in 1856, lightning reportedly cracked across the sky over the village of Smiljan. According to family legend, the midwife looked at the violent storm and said, "This child will be a child of darkness." But Tesla's mother replied, "No, he will be a child of light." And somehow, that line feels less like a story and more like a prophecy. Because from an early age, Tesla did not think like other children. He didn't just imagine machines, he could see them in full detail, inside his mind. He once described how he could mentally build inventions, rotate them, test them, and even improve them without touching a single tool. Most people think genius means knowing more, but Tesla's kind of genius was stranger than that. He didn't just understand reality, he seemed to experience it differently. And that difference would one day bring him close to changing the entire world. When Tesla came to America, he wasn't arriving as a celebrity. He arrived as an outsider, poor, unknown, and carrying ideas that sounded impossible. At the time, electricity was still young. The world had not yet fully decided how power would flow through cities, homes, and machines. And one man was already dominating the field: Thomas Edison. Edison believed in direct current, or DC. Tesla believed in alternating current, or AC. To most people, that sounds like a technical argument, but it wasn't. It was a war over the future. DC worked, but it was limited. It could only travel short distances efficiently. AC, on the other hand, could move electricity much farther and much more effectively. In simple terms, Edison wanted to power neighborhoods. Tesla wanted to power civilizations, and history would prove Tesla right. But being right is not always enough, because science doesn't rise in a vacuum. It rises inside a world full of money, power, ego, fear, and people who don't like losing control. Most inventors try to make things better. Tesla wanted to make things non-recognizable. He didn't dream small. He didn't think in terms of products. He thought in terms of systems, entire systems. He didn't just ask, how do we send electricity? He asked something far more dangerous. Why do we need wires at all? That question sounds simple, but hidden inside it was a revolution. Because if electricity could be sent wirelessly, then power itself would stop being tied to physical infrastructure. No giant cables stretching across the world, no dependency on who owned the lines. No traditional control over how energy was delivered. In Tesla's mind, the Earth itself could become part of the machine, the planet as a conductor, the atmosphere as a pathway, human civilization plugged directly into nature. This was not just invention. This was a complete rewriting of reality. Now, this is where the story becomes almost unbelievable. Tesla believed that energy was already all around us, that the universe was not empty, but full of hidden forces waiting to be tapped. And he believed that with the right technology, humanity could give power to the entire world without wires, and perhaps at an incredibly low cost, or even free. Think about that for a second. If Tesla had actually succeeded, the world we know today might look completely different. No nations built around controlling energy supply, no giant dependence on centralized electrical grids in the same way, maybe even a different balance of power between governments, corporations, and ordinary people, because control over energy is never just about electricity. It is about civilization itself. Who gets to build, who gets to grow, who gets to dominate, and who gets left behind. Tesla wasn't just trying to invent a machine. He was trying to challenge one of the deepest rules of human society, that power must be owned before it can be shared. And that is exactly why his dream became dangerous. At first, Tesla found financial support. One of the most powerful bankers in the world, J.P. Morgan, backed part of the project. But then, the cracks began to show. Because Morgan, like many powerful men of his era, was not funding dreams for beauty. He was funding them for control. And the moment the vision started to sound less like a profitable communication system and more like a potential source of broadly distributed power, the enthusiasm began to disappear. There's a famous line often associated with this turning point. If anyone can draw on the power, where do we put the meter? Whether those exact words were spoken or not, the meaning behind them reveals everything, because that single question cuts to the heart of Tesla's tragedy. Not can it work, but can it be controlled? And that is one of the most important hidden truths in the history of science. Many world-changing ideas don't die because they are false. They die because they threaten the structure of existing power. And Tesla may have threatened too much. At first, Tesla found financial support. One of the most powerful bankers in the world, J.P. Morgan, backed part of the project. But then the cracks began to show. Because Morgan, like many powerful men of his era, was not funding dreams for beauty. He was funding them for control. And the moment the vision started to sound less like a profitable communication system and more like a potential source of broadly distributed power, the enthusiasm began to disappear. There's a famous line often associated with this turning point. If anyone can draw on the power, where do we put the meter? Whether those exact words were spoken or not, the meaning behind them reveals everything, because that single question cuts to the heart of Tesla's tragedy. Not can it work, but can it be controlled? And that is one of the most important hidden truths in the history of science. Many world-changing ideas don't die because they are false. They die because they threaten the structure of existing power. And Tesla may have threatened too much. Now, to be fair, not every part of Tesla's later life should be romanticized. Some of his ideas became increasingly extreme. Some were ahead of their time. Some may never have been practical in the form he imagined. And yes, sometimes genius can drift into obsession. But that's exactly what makes this story so human, because Tesla was not a superhero. He was a lonely, brilliant, difficult, relentless man, trying to drag the future into a world that wasn't ready for it. And that's the part most people miss. We love genius, but only after history has made it safe. While they're alive, the people who think too differently are often dismissed as unstable, arrogant, unrealistic, or mad, not because they're always right, but because they force the rest of society to confront a terrifying possibility that the current version of reality is not final, and humans are not naturally comfortable with that. We say we want innovation, but psychologically, most people want innovation only when it does not threaten the system they already understand. Tesla's life is proof that intelligence alone is not enough. To change the world, an idea must not only be true, it must also survive politics, money, timing, and human fear. So now let's ask the question that changes everything. What if wireless global energy had actually become real? Would the world be more equal today? Would poorer regions have gained power faster? Would entire industries have been forced to evolve differently? Would modern life be freer, or even more unstable? Because every utopian dream carries a shadow. If power becomes everywhere, who protects it? Who regulates it? Who controls abuse? Who ensures access is fair? Tesla's dream sounds beautiful, and in many ways it was, but like all revolutionary ideas, it would not create paradise. It would create a new kind of world, and every new world brings new problems. That is the deeper truth most people miss. Science does not simply save humanity, it transforms the game. and then forces human nature to catch up. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. In the end, Nikola Tesla did not die as the ruler of a transformed world. He died alone, in a hotel room, with unfinished dreams, unfinished machines, and unfinished visions of the future. But maybe that is not failure. Maybe the true tragedy is not that Tesla dreamed too big. Maybe the true tragedy is that the world has always been slower than the people who try to change it. And maybe somewhere inside that unfinished tower, inside those impossible ideas, inside those questions that sounded too dangerous to fund, there was a future we were never brave enough to build. Because sometimes the greatest inventions in history are not the ones that failed. They are the ones humanity was too afraid to allow. And that leaves us with one final question. What else is possible that the world still isn't ready for? This is Science Behind Stories, because every discovery has a story.